in 3 years when we start our next podcast, probably be a lot more interesting than this one.
I like talking about myself. I'm interested. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VO Bar Podcast, a podcast that has been a year almost to the day in the making, a year and a month, maybe, by the time you hear it. Wow. I can't believe we're actually here.
It's about darn time.
Right? And so,
all you
like
needed
any
was
good
me.
podcast, all we needed was Al. And so, like any good podcast, today we're going to start out by talking about us.
Yeah.
So who are we? My name is Will Vincent. You are?
I'm Victoria Prather.
And our missing link?
Yes, missing link, Al Moulliet.
Al was the catalyst to finally get this ball moving. And here we are.
They couldn't
So
find
who wants-
anyone.
Well, the truth is we didn't look.
That's true. That's true.
So who wants to go first? How did we get started in voiceover? Who are we? Why are we doing this? All that fun stuff. You going to make me go first?
Pretty much. Yeah. Go ahead, Will.
All right, I'll go first. I went to school for radio and TV back in 97. Because somebody said, "You've got a good voice. You should be on the radio." On the radio, not a voice actor, mind you. Had I actually pursued voice acting back then, people might actually know who the hell I am by now. I don't know. So I went to school for radio. I was working as a mobile DJ and a nightclub DJ in some of the biggest nightclubs in Minneapolis at the time. Went into the military for a while, screwed up my back, got out early, went back to all the same stuff I was doing before. And finally, I met up with a guy who was actually on the air and said, if you want to be in radio, I'll help you get going again. I'll help you do a new tape. I said, okay, that sounds good. And so I went into the studio and put together a tape and sent it out, got myself a gig. Overnights in Wausau, Wisconsin, baby. Yeah.
Across the border.
Yes. So I did that for about a year. And, radio doesn't pay very well. And it was overnights, so that sucked. And came back home and went back to all the stuff I was doing before. And then finally decided, okay, it's time to grow up and get a real job. And so I went and started doing software development. And I've done that for the past 20 years. And about 3-4 years ago, decided, you know what? It's time I do something with what I went to school for. So voiceover, which has nothing to do with radio, really.
You mean something other than accumulate student debt?
Well, I didn't really accumulate much debt because it was a certificate program. It was only 9 months.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
So
Bragger.
Cha-ching. Yeah, well,
Cha-ching.
there was that time in community college for computer science that was wasted, and
I thought he was
that
going to say
racked up some
band
debt.
camp.
No, I
Yeah.
never went to band camp.
That time at band camp. No?
So
All right.
here I am. I've trained with several people, some of the best of the best. Got lots of demos. I'm doing the thing. I book occasionally, not as much as I want, but we're working on it.
And that's why we're here.
And that's why
Insert
we're here.
applause.
Are we here to be booked more? Is that
We're here to
missed that
help.
memo?
We're
Oh, you're here to help
Yes.
me? Sweet.
What?
There are things to learn, buddy.
Teach me all of the tricks.
All of the
Al,
booking
you're booking
tricks.
all the time, right?
All the time.
No, that's Victoria.
All the
Victoria
time.
Oh, yeah.
books
That's
all
Shush.
the time.
This is so much crap already. Wow. Thanks.
yes.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Hey, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
That is the word on the street. Tell
Oh,
us
by the
about
way,
yourself.
I
Oh.
am drinking today's drink of the day because this is
Which
a bar
is?
after all.
Which is?
Of course.
Hot chocolate with Frangelico because it's winter. You need a nice toasty warm drink in a tiny booth that started out already a little warm. May have been a bad choice.
Time shall tell. There you
Yes.
go. Well,
Are
I
you?
also started in radio, kind of, sort of. My first job right out of high school was working in radio. Nice little light 101 FM. And I did the weather, and I thought that was great. And then I spent a lot of time doing stuff. What did you just do? I missed it. What did you do?
He wants you to keep going.
Oh, that actually wasn't. So I didn't do live radio there. That wasn't that time.
Dead
So,
radio?
but this was when things were still reel to reel. It was like back in the day.
Wow,
And
you're making yourself sound old. I thought you were
you
only
know,
21.
Yeah, well, according
That's what
to
your cake
the
said.
birthday candles, that's what my cake said. It said 21, and I'm still laughing about that. My family knows me well. But yeah, and then I just did a lot of volunteering at different radio stations. I was overseas working for AFN, doing live radio there. Did a morning drive program that was so much fun, way too much fun. And I was doing traffic there, which was fun because I could translate I lived in Germany. I'm not doing this very well, talking about
That's
my life.
okay. I didn't do very well either. So
It sucks. I went to school and studied art, culture, psychology, and communications, and have a master's degree in education.
how's that communication degree working?
Yeah, so good. I actually do use it pretty much every day, except when I'm talking and haven't like prepared
Except
like a
when
speech.
I'm podcasting. You know what?
Yeah.
I figured it out.
What?
So in 3 years, when we start our next podcast, we'll write each other's bios
There you go.
and read
Ooh.
them.
Maybe 59 and a half seconds, though.
Yeah, because a minute's too much.
It
But, you know,
what do we know?
30 seconds isn't enough.
Exactly.
So
Now
good.
you speak multiple languages, right?
Kind of, sort of. I speak fluent
Okay.
German.
Is that like Spanglish? It's almost Spanish, almost English. Just enough to get you arrested.
What is in your drink, Al?
Oh, since it's my turn, I am doing
Sure.
Great Lakes Brewing Christmas Ale. Spices and honey and ale. It's okay.
The spices.
It's the spices. Oh man, your backgrounds are amazing compared to mine.
Mine's just black.
Is
What are you
it
talking
right?
about?
No,
That's
I've got
right,
tan,
that's right.
I'll fix that.
blue.
Yes.
There. Blue.
Ooh.
Blue. Okay, now we have
Fancy.
colors. I've been doing, well, as you can see by the guitar in the background, I'm a former musician from New Orleans. Played a lot of heavy metal, a lot of rock and roll. Moved to Minneapolis, played a lot of rock and roll. Yes.
I have a question. Former musician, hard metal or heavy metal in
Yeah.
New Orleans? I'm sorry, I don't.
It's all
quit-
cover bands. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not all jazz. It's not as romantic as you think. It's a dump.
Okay, but you got the guitar, so you're not a former.
do.
You could still
No,
play.
I still have a couple of guitars hanging
He's a
around the house.
reformed musician.
There we go. Reformed.
Yes.
Okay.
Reformed musician and recovering Catholic. I actually got into voiceover by accident. I was listening to the radio, XM, and a rock DJ, if I can mention his name, Eddie Trunk. He said when he got out of college, he did voiceover work before he got into radio, and you can make some good money that way. That's all I needed to hear. So I still had equipment, bought an interface, put a mic together, did the number one cardinal sin. I put together my own demo, cranked up and said, yes, January 1st, 2017. So about 6 years ago. And 15 days later, I booked my first job.
And
It's been nonstop ever since.
All the
That
time.
same job. No, that's not true.
Just one job.
It's just one job.
Yes, I
That's
did.
A long script.
That's called employment.
Yes. So, so that's the way it's been. Lucky enough to learn a few things from you guys, coaching and stuff. And here we are having a podcast.
Here we are having a podcast, and future episodes will probably be a lot more interesting than this one.
I don't know. I like talking about myself. I'm interested. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Okay, I do have a quick question though. So you started off with an XLR mic, Al?
Oh yeah.
And Will, you as well?
Well, I had some. I bought one specifically for VO, but I already had some others because I did film before, and I've done a lot of crew film work.
Okay,
not as much in front of the camera.
gotcha.
So I had some, but I bought a large diaphragm condenser when I started, and it sounded awesome when I was in my little blanket fort. Once I moved in here, it picked up too much of the room in my whisper room. That I've added so much padding.
Whisper.
I've added so much padding to try and deaden it that it's still, unfortunately, a box, and it sounds like a box.
Yeah, this is actually
So
my
I finally
first mic.
upgraded to the 416, which sounds pretty good.
I love the sound
love
of
my
the 416.
Yeah. I had a USB mic to start. Nobody judged me then. It wasn't until 2020 that judging started.
And man, it hit hard when it's done.
Dang. It was like, okay, so, and I'm sure we can cover this in a podcast, but I did not choose the right mic. I mean, it was 2020. You weren't going in to,
What'd you use?
test out. Sure, SM7B.
Okay, well, I mean,
Yeah, it's a
What
great
was your- what
podcasting
was-
mic.
what was your USB mic?
An Audio Technica 2020 USB Plus.
Oh, okay.
AT 2020
I'm actually a
USB
little bit
Plus.
surprised that it wasn't the blue.
No, it was
whatever
not
the
a
hell.
Blue Yet. The Yeti? No.
Yeah,
No.
The Blue Yeti.
No, but
I think my
mic
name is better. The blue, whatever the hell.
Blue, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Did not have that one. No.
I mean, it's a great mic. For what it is.
It
And-
wasn't really made for anything specific.
Well, and the thing is, yes, USB mics are not as good as XLR. But if your space is good, and we'll definitely get into this in a future podcast, if your space is good, a mediocre USB mic can sound every bit as good, if not better, than a fantastic, super high-end XLR mic in a mediocre room,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
And the Yeti actually came out in an XLR also. Version.
I did not know
So
this.
so does that AT
did.
2020. That's available at an XLR
Yes.
too.
Yep.
Yes.
So listen, guys, you hear what we're saying. There's going to be more. It's going to be better. Stick with us. Stick with
It'll
us
at
on
least be
this.
different. It may or not be better, but it'll be different.
Okay.
And
Fair.
it'll definitely
Totally
be
fair.
more. So I guess Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week.